Lesson 78 is about capacity, and capacity tells us how much a container can hold. So we've got a table for units of liquid measure. This needs to be copied into your notes. If you'd like to pause now, please do so you can get this written down. Now you can see the difference between the U.S. customary system, which is used in the U.S., and the metric system. The U.S. customary system has gallons, quarts, pints, cups, and ounces. They can all measure how much capacity a container has. The metric system only has one unit, and the one unit that the metric system has is the liter, which can be converted into milliliters. Now for the customary system, on the left, you can see 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, and 1 quart equals 2 pints. 1 pint is equal to 2 cups, and 1 cup is equal to 8 ounces. Now as we go through this lesson, we'll have to keep that in mind as we're answering our question. The metric system is a little bit simpler because we know that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. And that's the only conversion we have. Now for this lesson, we're going to go ahead and we're going to copy this, and we're going to bring it into the next slides with us so we can have a frame of reference. Let's go to our next example now. Our question says, a half gallon is how many pints of milk? So let's bring our table back. So we've got our customary system and our metric system. Let's make our table a little bit smaller. It doesn't need to be that big. Actually, we won't because it reformats everything. So a half gallon is how many pints of milk? Let's work with this. So it says 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So that must mean 1/2 of a gallon must be equal to 2 quarts. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to find how many pints of milk will be in a half a gallon. Now we know 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. So 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. So if we have 2 quarts must be double the amount of 1 quart. So 2 quarts would be equal to 4 pints. And we'd have our answer. We could go ahead and we could box that, and we can move on to the next question. Now as we go through, there's quite a bit to remember here. 1 gallon is 4 quarts, 1 quart is 2 pints, 1 pint is 2 cups, and 1 cup is 8 ounces. In the metric system, though, it's just 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. Let's look at our next problem. Which has a greater capacity? A 12-ounce soda pop can or a 1 pint container? Let's bring our slide back, or our picture back. So we've got it. And in this one, this is really just one sentence. We can take the period out there. That doesn't need to be there. And we want to know which has a greater capacity. A 12-ounce soda pop can. So 12 ounces. Well, if we look at what 12 ounces is, 1 cup is 8 ounces. So 12 ounces, and OZ is the abbreviation for ounces. Well, if we have 1 cup is 8 ounces, then 1 1/2 cups must be 8 ounces, because 4 more than 8 is 12, and 4 is half of 8. So 1 1/2 cups equals 12 ounces. Now, it says, does that have a greater capacity than a 1 pint container? Well, a 1 pint container is 2 cups, and 12 ounces is 1 1/2 cups. So a 1 pint container must have a much greater capacity than a 12-ounce soda pop can. Let's move on to our next example. Well, our next example is going to be with lesson practice, page 416. Make sure you've got your notes completed, and I'll see you during our next class.